Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the month of September as we have a lot going on. This will be a month where we're going to see some big changes halfway through. So I want to give you all these dates and times to look out for. But before I start, always remember you can sign up for my free newsletter where you will have all of my predictions, dates and times, and much, much more that I'm unable to talk about here delivered to your email address. So go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and sign up for my free newsletter. And while you're there, take note of my beautiful spiritual jewelry. And also, I always want everyone to remember, if you would like to study Vedic astrology with me, go to my university website, which is University of Vedic Astrology. So with that, I want to talk about all the happenings that are about to occur in this pivotal month. This is a pivotal month, September. We have so much change about to happen. One of the big things that I feel like is going to happen is the transit of Mars. Mars, as it transits closer and closer to the sun, starts to heat things up. But right before it really comes together with the sun in the sign of Virgo, we're going to have a break. Something very good is about to happen. And that very good thing, I think, is going to be in the early part of the month. It's going to be around the new moon. Actually, it's going to be September 6th through September 15th. Take note of that time period because this is where the planets gain an unusual strength as the sun is still in Leo and we have Venus on September 6th go into Libra. It's a powerful sign of dignity. Then we also have Mercury in Virgo exalted. And then we also have Saturn in Capricorn. All of these planets, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, are incredibly strong during this time. And this can be a time to get a lot done. Use that time frame to really move forward, get some projects done, especially I think around the 10th is very significant because on the 10th, the moon will be with Venus in Libra. So this is a powerful time. Use it because right after that, things are going to change very dramatically. But let's talk about what this month is here to bring. Because as Mars goes into Virgo, which Mars will go into Virgo, it will be September 5th through October 22nd. And the time period where we have Mars and the Sun conjoin will be October 8th. I'm going to talk about this in greater detail in the month of October. But as the sun comes together with Mars in Virgo, Virgo's all about health and healing. There's going to be so much going on concerning this virus that we have been plagued with for so long. But a lot's going to come out of this that's not so bad. And one of the things that is going to be evolving, we may not be able to see it right away. As a matter of fact, I think we'll be able to see it towards the beginning of the year. But during this time, there's going to be some new discoveries about health and healing. But also during this time, the virus is going to become more intense and we may have further lockdowns, but get things done before it really starts to happen. And I think it's going to really start to happen once Mars comes together with the sun in Virgo towards the second 2 weeks of September and on into October. It's going to be really tough. But one thing I really feel like we're going to learn more about this virus, how to conquer it, how to live with it, because chances are this virus is never going to completely go away. But we will learn how to live with it. and it won't be so severe and take lives. It's not going to be the death sentence it once was. So much is going to change with our information, and so much is going to change in the area of health and healing. This is a turning point, and I'm pretty excited about the end result of where we're going with this. So I'm going to give you more information. So looking at around September 15th, Jupiter's going to go back into Capricorn, where Jupiter was for a long period of time, around the time of November of 2021. Then again, no, November of 2020, Jupiter in Capricorn till April. So during that time, this was the time that we're really changing up society, the world, and the economy. Remember, Capricorn is all about the economics. Jupiter going back in the sign, we're going to make some different plans on how to handle finances, the economy. And one thing I think that's going to take off, now I am not a financial expert or advisor, but astrologically, I think that cryptocurrency is going to come up more in the world this month. And the time period that I think it's going to come up is Bitcoin is basically what I'm talking about. Bitcoin is the mother of all cryptocurrencies. And from the chart that I use to predict Bitcoin and where it goes, I'm looking at the fact that when Jupiter goes back into Capricorn, particularly the month of October, September, October, for these 2 months that Jupiter is in Capricorn, remember this time frame I'm talking about is actually going to be September 15th through November 20th. These 2 months, Jupiter is going to be aspecting by a trinal aspect Mercury in the chart, the birth chart of Bitcoin. And Jupiter's going to actually station at that degree around 29 degrees of Capricorn and 29 degrees of Virgo. That's where Mercury is in this natal chart for Bitcoin. But also in the heavens, transiting Mercury is there in Virgo, and Jupiter is casting a trine to it. So I predict that Bitcoin could come up more so during this time period. But as I said, take this with a grain of salt. We'll see if this chart produces the results I think it should. So going on, Mercury towards the end of this month is going to go retrograde. This will be around September 27th. But as we look at this month, Mercury for the most part is in Virgo. On the 27th, when it goes into Libra, about 1 degree, it will stop and turn retrograde. And for the most part, it will only be in Libra for about a week towards the end of this month. And then it will go back into Virgo as it goes retrograde. So this Mercury going back and forth in the sign of Virgo is about new discoveries with health and healing. We're really coming to a new place with the understanding of how this all works. And we're going to learn how to adjust our world to this virus. Instead of having complete lockdowns, eventually we learn how to work with it. But at first, we are going to have some serious repercussions because the virus will become more extreme. There will probably be more cases. There's going to be major fear around the world with this, but my prediction is it's not going to last. So looking at Mercury, it's going to be retrograde from September 27th through October 18th. And for the most part, it will be transiting in the sign of Virgo, new discoveries. So another thing is, remember, as I said before, that date of around September 6th through September 15th. when these planets become unusually strong and powerful. Use those days to get whatever you need to get done. But most of all, I encourage everyone to look deep within themselves and ask yourself, when planets go retrograde, such as Jupiter and Saturn are both retrograde, and Mercury will be retrograde, it is a time to go back and reassess things. Look and see how this whole crisis of the coronavirus has affected your life. And for the most part, I know everyone's saying how terrible this is. This is the worst thing ever. But it's not. It's waking us up in so many ways, because now we're able to see the truth in so many departments, particularly the truth about world leaders and governments. This is coming to the surface. Remember, I have been saying the truth is coming out. Well, the truth doesn't come out in one day, but it's been coming out ever since this whole crisis with the virus. This is called the Great Awakening. This is what I see. And as a matter of fact, the beginning of the year of 2020, I called the beginning that month the Great Awakening. This is how the truth is going to be exposed. Through something this radical. You know, we could have never come upon these truths many years ago. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones to be able to take pictures, to validate all these truths and things that are coming out. This month, there's going to be a lot more revealed, and all the illusions are about to surface. And I do think through time, we're going to really understand what this Great Awakening was all about. Because it was January 8th of 2020 when Jupiter conjoined Ketu in Sagittarius that I called this the Great Awakening. And of course, that was the awakening of the realization of this virus. And this virus is here to lead us to the truth of the corruption and deceit and things that have been going on for so long. We're all starting to better understand and see the illusion. It's all becoming reality. And so those of you that wonder and say, this is the most horrible time. Why am I here? Why are we going through this? I want you to recognize most of you that feel this way are very young. Because if you were around in the 60s and the 70s, you would understand that everything is happening for a divine reason, and everything is improving from where we were before. The corruption, the crime, the assassinations in the 60s. There was President Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy. The racial tensions and violence was unbelievable. And all of those things, pretty much some of them, had to happen to create a whole new world that's a better place. But things had to be destroyed for the truth to come out. The governments, as a matter of fact, the whole thing about Kennedy, it's in my Pluto book. For those of you that really want to know what happened to President Kennedy, who killed him, let me just say, it's so dark and corrupt that of course it's not going to come out. Because let me just say this, those that pretty much killed him, no one knew, continued to run the country. So this is something deep and dark. Imagine, no one knew. The Vietnam War. So many young boys going off to Vietnam came back in boxes. When they returned, there was no respect. Tomatoes were thrown at them. And most of the people that came back from Vietnam were not able to function in society. The boys were drafted. They didn't have a choice. And everyone's saying this is terrible. Now people are understanding how to learn at home, to work at home, come together as family. There are blessings in this terrible situation that I think, and I'm going to call it and continue to call it the Great Awakening, because so much is going to change over all of this, and it is going to create a better world. Here's what's happening through all of this. Because of the world leadership around the world and all the disillusionment, people are losing their trust and their belief and faith in the world leaders. And I mean, this is all over the world, and this is no matter what side you're on. It's the truth that the way all of this has been handled, we're definitely going to see the reality and the truth. Everything is going to become crystal clear before the dust is settled from all of this. We will be able to see what has been happening behind the scenes, kept hidden from us all of these years. But what's going to come out of this is that people are starting to realize that there is no such thing as a savior. Everyone's looking to the president, the prime ministers around the world to get us out of this situation, to solve this dilemma. But what are they doing? All they do is point fingers at each other, blame each other, instead of looking for the answer to solve things, going back and forth. Who's at fault? Who did what? This is the time that people are so disillusioned with their leaders. And here is the key. This is the beauty of the Great Awakening. We are no longer here to look for others to save us, because we all have to look within to save ourselves, because we are all connected. There is no such thing as division. But all of this is creating division and polarity. But when we come together, but totally realize that each and every one of us have the divinity of the Spirit of God within us, we have that power. And it's time that the Great Awakening is we take back our own power. Instead of waiting for someone to heal this, to make the world a better place, we individually have to take back our own power, looking within our own selves for that which will lead us. It's our connection to the divine, and that involves the power of love. Love is the power of the divine. It's within all of us. When we connect to that true, incredible divine essence within us all, we will learn to love everything about this world. This is a beautiful world we live in. And those that keep saying how awful this world is, that's the results they're going to get with their life. This is not an awful world till you wake up and look at the beauty and understand your truth and your power to be divinely connected to Source. And with that Source, this is where the healing happens. And this is where we all wake up. This is the Great Awakening. This is where we find our truths. Instead of looking for it always out there, it's time to take back your power. This is the month it's going to all start unraveling. It won't be complete though. I don't see it being complete for a long time into 2022, but this is the beginning. That the truth, that people are starting to recognize their own sense of power within them. We have it. And when we find it and you connect to that unconditional knowing and love within you, then your perspective of this world will change. And then is when you will feel the purpose of why you're here during this time, to help others grow, to become aware of who they really are, their divinity. And this is the healing and what all of this great chaos and difficulty has brought to us to better understand our purpose here on earth, because it is to grow. And through all this, the most difficult, challenging times give us the biggest opportunity for growth. And now it's all unfolding, and we're going to come together with this understanding, and it's going to be a much better world. You will see. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, or you would like to study with me, go to my two websites, galacticcenter.org, or if you would like to study Vedic astrology with me, go to my university website, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.